Hey everyone, it's Saturday, September 13th, 2025, and today we're taking a little extra time for a special in-depth episode. We're focusing on a single, deeply consequential story out of Dallas that's shaking up how people think about crime, immigration status, and the criminal justice process. This isn't a quick news bite. It's a careful, long look at what happened, how the system moved after the event, and what it could mean for communities, prosecutors, and policymakers alike. Let me set the scene. On Wednesday, September 10th, a violent confrontation at the Dallas Downtown Suites ended with the machete attack and the brutal beheading of Chandra Mulinago-Maria, a motel manager of Indian origin. The suspect, Yordanis Cobos Martinez, is a 37-year-old Cuban national, and authorities say the attack happened during a dispute over a broken washing machine. The crime itself was shocking, and the fact that it unfolded in front of Nagamalaya's wife and son adds a human crisis layer that isn't easy to shake. Police recovered the weapon, and the scene was captured on security cameras, lending a grim, undeniable record of what happened. Cobos Martinez reportedly admitted to the crime during interrogation, and the momentum of the case quickly carried it into the courtroom and into immigration proceedings almost simultaneously. From there, the legal gears began to churn in two tracks. First, Cobos Martinez was booked in Dallas County on capital murder with $1 million bond. Second, federal authorities placed an immigration hold. ICE lodged a detainer and began removal proceedings even as the criminal case moves forward. The dual-track reality, criminal prosecution and potential removal from the country, shows how intertwined these processes have become in high-profile cases, especially when the suspect is undocumented and has a prior criminal history. Officials and legal analysts have suggested that if Cobos Martinez is convicted, the practical outcome could be that he remains incarcerated for life in the United States, with immigration status becoming a secondary concern to the sentence itself, at least for the foreseeable future. This story isn't just about one brutal act. It's about how immigration status can intersect with violent crime in ways that complicate both justice and public safety. Cobos Martinez is described as an undocumented immigrant from Cuba with a documented history that includes violent and sexual offenses. That background raises questions about prior interactions with the system, reporting and monitoring gaps, and what, if anything, could have prevented this tragedy. It also spotlights how local and federal agencies coordinate when a crime is committed by someone who is in the country without status. We're talking about detainers, intake, and the sequencing of trials, criminal court versus deportation proceedings, and what happens when a defendant's case spans both sides of the law. To understand the full picture, we need to look at the people touched by this case beyond the defendant. Nagamalaya's family, who witnessed the violence, is living with the aftermath of that day's trauma. His community, including co-workers and residents in Dallas, is processing the shock of a recent visceral crime connected to someone who was in the United States without secure status. Legal advocates speaking to the broader implications point to questions about how the system handles individuals with criminal histories who are also in removal proceedings, and what that means for public safety and for due process. It's a reminder that immigration policy isn't abstract. It intersects with crime, with families, and with daily life in cities across the country. So what happens next? And what does this case tell us about the state of immigration enforcement today? The prosecution will push forward with the criminal case in state court, setting the stage for a trial and potential conviction on capital murder. Meanwhile, ICE will continue the removal process, which may not be immediately decisive, but will shape Cobos Martinez's future long after any sentence is served. The overlap of these processes raises important questions. How do detainers influence bail decisions, risk assessments, and pretrial custody? How do states balance the pursuit of justice in violent crime with federal immigration priorities? And what can communities expect as these cases unfold in a context where national policy continues to evolve and where case-by-case outcomes can vary widely? For listeners, this is a case study in how the U.S. handles the overlap between violent crime and immigration status. It's about the people who live with the consequences of those decisions long after the headlines fade. It's also a lens into the ongoing debate over detainers, releases, and the broader question of how to keep communities safe while ensuring fair process for everyone involved. Before we wrap, I want to emphasize why this episode matters now. As policy debates intensify and public attention remains fixed on how immigration status affects crime and punishment, this Dallas case crystallizes those questions in a way that's tangible and urgent. It shows the human cost, the procedural complexity, and the policy friction in real time. If you're curious about how these legal threads weave together in real-world scenarios, you're in the right place. And if you want more context and analysis as these procedures develop, keep an eye on visaverge.com for updates and deeper dives. Thanks for listening. I'll be back with more, a careful, thorough look at the next phase of this case and what it could mean for policy, justice, and the communities at the heart of it all.